Hi guys, welcome once again to my channel. My name is Lillian Uja and I'm a new immigrant here in Canada, Alberta precisely. And today I want to talk to you about what I did to get my visa out, my Canadian work permit out on time after, a rejection. Okay, I just want to say thank you to my new subscribers. You guys have awesome. I appreciate you for subscribing to my channel, and to my OGs guys. I appreciate you guys. Thank you so much. So if this is something you are interested in, then please keep watching. Welcome again, guys. Okay, so first of all, my journey to Canada started in 2021 when my husband left Nigeria for Canada. At that time, that was November 2021. At that time, I was pregnant. I was 5 months pregnant for my baby. So he left, and we decided to have a baby in Nigeria because I was scared of childcare and all the stress because I give birth to my kids through CS. I was scared of all that stress and all of that. So he went first, and then I had to stay back in Nigeria with my two other kids. We started processing our visas in 2022. I had my baby January 2022, and then 3 months after, which was in March 2022, we felt it was the right time to process the visas. Okay, so we put in for the visitors visas. At that time, visitors visa was the in thing. People were applying for visitors visa because the processing time was very fast. So we felt it was the best option for us at that time because we wanted to get out on time. So we applied for the visitors visa. Mind you, we had no clue on how to package application documentations for Canadian visa. I've been to other countries, but on most of the other countries I went to, they were not this tough when it comes to documentation for visas. But for Canadian visa, we had to put in a lot, but we did not have this idea. So we just packaged what we could package, and we submitted the application. We submitted the visitor visa for myself, a visitor visa for my kids as well. So we waited. We submitted this application March 9th, and on the 29th of March 2022, we got some emails. Now, my husband was the one who did the application, so he was the one who got the emails. He said when he saw the app drop, the emails drop, the alerts drop in his mail, he was scared. He was scared, and also, he was anxious. Anxiety took the better part of him because he felt, oh my God, 3 weeks and it was out. And then when he clicked on it, guess what he saw, guys? Rejection. We were rejected. Our visas were denied. He called me to tell me that the visas were denied. I cried because I had made up my mind. I had planned myself, with this. My whole plans at that time were centered around the visa and us leaving the country. So I had short-term plans, and in fact, my hopes were dashed, guys. So he encouraged me and told me that we're not going to be the first to get rejected, and that we're going to do things the right way. Now, we decided to reapply. Remember, I told you we had no prior knowledge of how to package a visa to Canada. So we applied again in June, right? We applied again in June without doing a lot of research. We felt, okay, this time around, let's put in for another visitor visa. We didn't do enough research on this, so we put in for another visitor visa in June. Now, this time around, the only thing we did differently was that we put in for another visitor visa for myself, and then we did a study permit for my son, who is 6 years old, and then visitor visa for my daughter, who is 4, and my baby, who was 9 months at that time. Now, we waited. The journey to Canada was not easy. We waited from June. In July, we didn't hear from IRCC. IRCC means Immigration, Refugees, and Citizenship Canada. Now, this is the body that manages the visa, immigration issues, anything concerning immigration for Canada, right? So now we didn't hear from IRCC in June. We didn't hear from them in July. We didn't hear from them in August. Remember, I told you that visitors visa was the in thing then because the processing time was fast. So we're expecting that we're going to get a response fast, just like we got the denial in in March, right? But we didn't hear from them in July, August, September, October. In October, I got tired and I was like, I told my husband I was fed up because everything concerning me was not, I wasn't able to plan. Couldn't make long-term plans because I had businesses I was running. I couldn't take major decisions for my business, and for myself personally, I saw opportunities, I couldn't go into them because I felt I didn't have long-term plans in Nigeria. So it was really affecting me emotionally. I was becoming very anxious and all of that. So I told my husband we needed to submit another application because I had done my research and I felt work permits would go better. So at that time in October, we decided to put in for a work permit. So in November, we submitted a work permit for myself, a study permit for my son, a visitor visa for my daughter and my last baby. Okay, so we submitted that in November 9th, 2022. We believed God that this time around it was going to happen fast. In November, we didn't hear from them. Then in December, 28th of December exactly, I went out and I came back. That was the festive period. So I went out, I came back home, and something in me said, you know, click on the go into your portal and check. And I checked my portal, and then I saw that there was a movement, there was a change. I called my husband to inform him, and he told me he saw it as well. And we decided. Now, prior to that 28th of December, in November, towards November 30th, 2022, we applied for a GCMS note. Note means Global Case Management System. Now, this is a note where the visa officers document everything that concerns your application. Now, if a denial was made on your application, the visa officer who reviewed your application would document everything they did while processing your file. Now, if your file is ongoing, your visa processing is ongoing, they will also keep documenting as the day goes. As they look into your file, they keep documenting. So you can actually request for this note whenever you feel like while in your process. So we applied for it on November 30th. I think November 29th or November 30th, I'm not very sure. I'll confirm that. But we submitted that, we applied for it, and it takes about 30 days. Now, there are two different types of GCMS notes. Okay, there is one from IRCC and there is one from CBSA. Now, the one from IRCC usually should take 30 days, but right now it takes about 60 to 70 days, or sometimes 80 days. People have been complaining about that. But the one from CBSA takes a shorter time, exactly 30 days. So we applied for the one from CBSA. I'm going to leave um, I'm going to leave the descriptions in my description box, or the links in my description box, so that in case you need to use these links to aid your application, you can. So we applied for this on the 30th of November 2022, and 31st of December 2022, we got the GCMS note. And on the GCMS note, we noticed that a particular document on my file was flagged, and that was my husband's work permit. It was flagged. So we decided to call the MP. Now, listen to me. We decided to call the MP. This was the second thing we did. Now, if we did not request for the GCMS note, we wouldn't have found out there was an issue, or there was something that was of a concern to the visa officer. So that helped us to reach out to the MP. Now, my husband reached out to the MP in his province. Now, MP means member of parliament. These are special influential people in the parliament. They are like people in the state of assembly in our country, back in Nigeria, if you're from my country. These are people in governments. They have a kind of influence. So when they make a call to IRCC, or when they reach out to them, they give them a better audience than they would normally give you. So my husband reached out to a friend of his who took him or introduced him to the MP. So he went to see the MP and he explained his situation to the MP. Now remember, if you are meeting an MP, you need to play to their emotions. You need to tell them stuff that will make them, feel sympathetic towards your, situation. So my husband explained to them that he had not seen his baby since he was born, and we've applied 3 times. This was our third application, and nothing has happened. That it's affecting our marriage. You need to, appeal to their conscience. So the lady took it up and called IRCC and informed us again that there was something that was flagged on my file, which was my husband's work permit. Now, they said he did not submit the work permit as an evidence, but he said he did. So now, because we had known, my husband had to resubmit that document. Okay, now guess what? If we did not check it, they would just take a decision without even telling you to bring it. They would just form a decision, make a decision, can just deny you that visa, just like that, and you will not know where it came from, what happened along the way. So we We requested for another GCMS note immediately after we submitted the work permit documents for my husband. Now, I told you that it takes 30 days with CBSA. We did another one. And in another 30 days, right, it came back to us. Now, before that 30 days, second 30 days, we kept tabs with the MP. We kept tabs with the MP, just to find out what was going on. So every week we were reaching out to the MP to know the update from IRCC, So a week to 30th of January 2023, which was when I got my visa, the MP reached out to us and asked my husband to send my date of birth and my country of birth for expedition. At that point, I knew that these people had influence. My husband quickly sent all the information she needed and she forwarded to IRCC. 4 days later, a we got a mail from IRCC and it was an approval. This was on the 30th of January 2023. Guys, you can't imagine how happy I was. You can't imagine the excitement, the joy. It was as if everything I had waited for, every pain, every struggle, every, cry, everything I had waited for. At that point, it just felt like I did not remember them anymore. It was the most exciting time of my life, guys. I was so happy. I cried and all of that. So what I'm saying is, we aside from these three things we did, which was what fast-tracked the visa process, which was what fast-tracked the visa to come out, we also packaged this application very, very well. And in another video, I'm going to be explaining to you the document. I'm going to give you details of the documents we submitted with this application that aided the success of this application. Now, before I end this video, I want to quickly recap on the steps you need to take if you are experiencing a delay in your work permit application or your Canadian visa of any type at this time. The first thing you want to do is to apply for your GCMS notes. Guys, you need to apply for your GCMS notes. That would help you to know the stage at which your file is, the process of your application is, to know if there are any concerns that the visa officer has over your file. Now, the second thing you want to do is if your application has exceeded its processing time, right, you can actually start submitting web forms. Now, web forms they're emails. I won't call them mails. They are links to how you can send messages directly to the immigration officers to inquire about the stage or what's happening. If you have exceeded the processing time, please note that you do not have to bombard them with emails if you are sure that your processing time has not been exceeded. So after you have requested for a GCMS note to know the stage where your application is, you can now send web forms like reminding them, explaining to them that, okay, you've exceeded my application time, my processing time, and my visa is not out. If you're a student, your school is about to resume, you can use that, and tell them you're about to lose your spot in school, your work, you need to get to meet your family. Appeal to their conscience. There's no human being that does not have conscience. When you tell them about, like for me, I use the fact that I had kids and my husband had not met my baby. I had my baby while he was away, that it was affecting our marriage, so many things. I said a lot in my mail. Maybe if you are interested to know the content of my mail, maybe one of them, I can get my mail and get one of the messages I sent to them and, read it out here for you, okay? So I did all of that. Now, one thing I noticed is that in the GCMS notes, when they came back to us, each time we got the GCMS notes, we found out that every web form we sent was documented. So it means that these visa officers, they see your web forms, they see your messages, but they do not respond. They do not respond to web forms. No. They hardly do respond to web forms, but they see it. So you keep sending them. You can send them every week. You can send them. Some people say they send them 3 times in a week, once in three days or something. So it depends on you, but please don't make it every day so that you don't become desperate and all of that. Even when we also got the GCMS notes, we found out that every time the MP, the member of parliament made a call to IRCC, it was documented that they made a call and the actions they took are thereafter. Do you get? So these people are influential. The third thing you want to do is to contact the MP. If after these 2 other measures you have taken is not producing any results, you need to contact the MP. Now, MPs do not respond to people who are outside of Canada. They usually respond to people who are in Canada. So many people said they sent mails to MPs in the provinces where they want to go to and they never got responses. Some of them said they got responses and they were told that they cannot respond to them because they're outside Canada. So you want to find someone who is in Canada who can help you. Now, if you have a spouse in Canada already, maybe schooling or maybe working, or you can actually ask your spouse to do that for you. So your spouse can go on your behalf and lay your complaint. Or a friend of yours, just find someone who can help you do this. Okay. So the MPs can actually aid your the fast processing of your visa. Okay, guys. So these are the things I did that aided and made it fast, made my application fast. Remember, I told you that I applied on the 9th of November 2022, and I got my visa on the 30th of January 2023. That was less than 2 months. Okay, guys. Now this was something I started applying for in March 2022. So it took me about a year to get this visa. The journey to this land of Canada wasn't easy. I hope that this information I've shared today will be of help or aid to anyone who is in this situation at this point and is looking for a way out. Thank you so much for watching my video, and I hope that you stick around so that you would know, or be the first to know when I post other videos. I'm going to be posting the documents I submitted in my application that aided the success of my application next. So subscribe to my channel so that you do not miss out on that. Thank you so much, guys. Love you all. Bye.